You're too pretty to be a dark skin. You're pretty, but you are dark skinned. You're like a walking shadow. You'll be way prettier if you were light skinned. You know, you should bleach. You will look 10 times better.
Those were just some of the stupid stuff that I have had said to me over the past couple years. I mean, now it's really stupid to me, but when I was younger, those words really, really deeply cut me, and those words were the reason why I was depressed. Now, being a young girl coming from a different country, let me just say, in my country, yes, we did have the whole light skin versus dark skinned, but I wasn't raised up to see those kind of stuff. In the schools that I went to, I had amazing teachers. I had this one teacher, she would always tell us, oh, you're so beautiful, I love your melanin, you look like a queen. She will always call us kings and queens and princesses. Like, she will make you want to go to school, and she will make you feel so comfortable. And it wasn't until I actually came here, when I started going to school here, that I started, dealing with a whole bunch of stuff like that. And I honestly didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what self-love and self-hate was. And honestly, I wish I had somebody in my life to sit down and tell me about self-love and self-hate. And I wish I had somebody in my life to teach me how to love myself, because when all those hatred and all those things were said to me as a young girl, I didn't know how to deal with it. So even when I did go into depression, I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know what the feeling was, and I didn't know how to deal with the feeling. Now, all of this basically, like a whole bunch of stuff in my life, started in 4th grade, where the main girl who would make me feel pretty much like nothing, who made me feel worthless, who made me feel ugly, was dark-skinned herself. But she used to hang out around a lot of light-skinned people, and to me now it's just like she was probably light-skinned in her head. But it started one day when we took a yearbook picture, and at the time I barely spoke English, so I didn't know what yearbook mean. So I was just lining up, and we took a picture. And then after that, on the bus, I heard, a couple weeks later, we finally got the yearbook, and I never bought a yearbook, so I didn't get to see it, and I really didn't care, because I didn't even know why we took the pictures for. So I would see people carrying around a book, and I looking through it, and I'll see that they're looking at pictures. So I was like, oh, that's cool. So my teacher ended up giving me one for free, and basically I didn't really pay no mind to it. I just put it in my book bag and be like, okay, I'll look at it when I get home. And on the bus, the girl and a couple people were laughing. Then somebody comes to me and they're like, she's laughing at you because they said in the yearbook picture they can't see you because you're too dark-skinned. And at first I didn't really think nothing of it until everybody in the bus started laughing and be like, oh, we can't see Corral, she's too dark-skinned, and ha ha ha. Like, to them that may have been funny, but to me, that's when I honestly started to question who I was, and I started to question the skin that I was in. And from then on, I would kind of receive the, you have a big nose, you're ugly because you're dark-skinned, you should bleach, and you're not pretty enough because you're dark-skinned. And going at home and being on social media and seeing all I literally would see on TV and movies and music videos is big butt, big boobs, light-skinned woman, and that would be portrayed as beautiful. And when I would read the news in my country, to me I was still stuck on, my teacher being like, you're beautiful kings and queen kind of thing. So I would think that's how people in my country are thinking. But once I started realizing that bleaching started becoming a big thing in Africa, my aunt, I would call my aunt and she would tell me, oh yeah, there's billboards of light-skinned women, and there's billboard of bleaching cream. You go to the market, it's everywhere. And to me, it kind of became if my country is telling our people that being dark-skinned is not pretty, then they are right. So I started believing that my own country is telling people bleaching is the way to go. So I started thinking that they're right, and I started putting that in my head, thinking, since I'm dark-skinned, I'm not good enough. Should I bleach too? So it got really bad. It got to a point where I didn't want to do anything because I would start believing the negativity that people said. I would start believing oh, you a walking shadow. I wouldn't want to go outside with people, or I wouldn't want to go to the movie theater with my friends because I know the lights will be off and they wouldn't see me. I started hating when the teacher would turn the lights off to, like, show something, because I know they wouldn't see me. And to me, I would think, what if everybody's laughing at me because I'm too dark? And I started, hating certain classes just because I was the only dark-skinned person in that class. So I started skipping the class and just going to the bathroom and just staying there the whole time. And to me, growing up, I kind of wish that I had that grown up to sit down and tell me what those feelings was. And I feel like a lot of African parents, not really a lot of African parents, but a lot of parents in general, need to sit down with their kid and teach them about loving themselves, teach them about who they are, teach them about how beautiful they are. Because once you don't have people to tell you those kind of things and to teach you those kind of things, you learning it yourself is the hardest thing to do. And honestly, me learning about all of that myself was horrible. Like, I got to a point where I would pour bleach down the tub and just wanted to bleach my whole skin, and thinking that me just pouring it down all over my body will give me a beautiful skin, And that's also another thing growing up that I didn't understand, was the whole light skin versus dark skin. Because to me, it's like our ancestors, our people were slaves. It didn't matter if you were light skin or dark skin. It didn't matter if you worked as a slave in the house or if you worked as a slave outside of the house. You were slave. We black people as a whole went through a lot already. We black people as a whole continue to go through a lot already. White men hate us. So if they do that, why do we continue, instead of coming together, being strong and powerful together, why do we continue as black people to hate each other while we already have a whole race hate on us? Why can't we come together as a whole and make something and build something and build an empire? Why do we continue to separate each other with the whole black, dark-skinned and light-skinned? Why do we continue to put so much hate through us? That's something that I grew up not understanding. And it's like, also, to me, I thought we can't sit here and say, oh, they hate us, while we sit here and hate us. While we sit here and be like, you're dark-skinned so you're not pretty. You're dark-skinned so you're not enough. She's light-skinned so she's beautiful, so she's enough. We can't continue to make ourselves feel like that. That's our kids. That's your daughter sitting there feeling in pain just because of something that you're doing. So that part honestly did confuse me growing up, and I honestly did not understand until in 7th grade. I sat down with a teacher because I had like a breakdown, and I was explaining to her everything that was going on, and she kind of broke it down to me. She would help me. I would go to her at lunch and we'll have like these note cards. She would have me like write good things about myself and how I feel about myself this day. And honestly, if it wasn't for her teaching me those, and if it wasn't for her making me read books that I have read, I would never be able to sit here and say I love myself. I will never be able to sit here and say I am comfortable in the skin that I am in, because we live in a society where social media is a big thing, where there's a lot of fakeness that we see, that young girls see, and they think is real, and it makes them think, oh, I want to be just like that. We live in a world where social media is a huge thing, where all we see is big, thick, big boobs, big butt, light-skinned girl, video vixen and everything. But what we need to understand is those women, majority of them, their body has been bought. Their body has ran through Dr. Miami. And their body, by the time they're in, 50 or whatever, is not going to last long. Your skin that you're in is natural. So their skin, the whole bleaching thing, they have to go through process. They have to have money to keep that beautiful skin that they have. If you don't have money, you're going to start looking like burn something. and it's gonna start looking disgusting, and that can prevent skin cancers and so on. So honestly, just love the skin that you're in. I know it's not gonna happen overnight, but learn to love yourself for who you are, because it's just, if you sit here and listen to the whole stupidness that's going on and just people be like you're not enough because you're dark skinned, that's a lie. You are beautiful just the way you are. Whether you're blue, green, red, yellow, you are beautiful. And do not let anybody tell you different. Honestly, the best gift you could give yourself is loving yourself first before loving anybody else. The best gift in the world that you can give yourself is loving yourself. Apart from loving whatever God you praise, love yourself first before you will ever be able to learn how to love somebody else. Before you will ever be able to be comfortable and happy with yourself, you have to learn to love yourself. And to me, it's just, now I can sit here and say I am comfortable with who I am. Yes, I have a big nose. Yes, I am dark skinned. Yes, I have a big forehead. But then again, what kind of African doesn't have a big forehead? And I can honestly sit here and say, yes, I am dark skinned. And yes, I am beautiful. And yes, I am a melanin queen. So I hope this video is not to bash anybody. It's just me just trying to share my journey with you guys, and me just hopefully try to help somebody and just try to make you see that you are beautiful. Do not let anybody tell you any different. So just, and to all the haters who had said, oh, you're dark skinned, that makes you ugly, da da da, you should be bleaching, you should be that, and da da da. Like, why you mad? Because my melanin pops severely and yours don't, huh?